finals open beta has been absolutely amazing. I've been looking for a game to grind lately, and this has definitely scratched that itch, but it does come with its own problems. So today we're going to talk about the things that I really enjoyed in the beta, but then also we're going to talk about the things that I think that need to get changed immediately to ensure the success of the finals when the full game comes out. Let's get right into it. My name is LJ, and welcome to FPS Guides. Before we start, I wanted to ask you guys a question. If you guys could have any of the weapons nerfed, which one would it be? And then on the other side, is there any weapons that you guys might want buffed? Let me know in the comments below. So overall, I enjoyed the beta, but it was not perfect by any means. I did enjoy the gameplay and the new, it's like a new fresh look on an objective game type with the cash out thing. I really enjoyed that. So let's start out with the things that I enjoyed about the beta, and then after that we can talk about what the things I think need to get changed and what Embark can do to change those things to make the game a much better experience for everybody. So first up, we got balancing in terms of each build has its own very powerful, not quite OP, but definitely powerful weapons or gear that makes it to where you can use really any build you want without forcing it to be like you only run 3 of the exact same build, because that's just the meta. Like, you don't really see like teams running all lights, all mediums, or all heavies. You usually see a variation unless you're like solo queuing and you just happen to come across 2 other people that are playing the same build as you. For the most part, you see a pretty big variety of these different builds. Although some of the gear and weapons do feel a little overtuned right now, it does not force you to use like a certain build at all. For me, the whole open beta, I was running the medium build with the defibrillator, the healing beam, jump pads, frags, and then the revolver as my primary weapon. And I felt like it was really strong, to be honest. I did run into some teams that were running some crazy team comps where they had 2 heavies and 1 medium, and the medium would just be healing them, and then the heavies were running double shield on it, and then with a shotgun and a flamethrower. Like, if you got close to them, you're chalked. Like, you were not gonna win that fight. But that comes with a counter. You could counter the double shield with the glitch grenades, because the glitch grenades do disable those shields. But if you don't counter it with glitch grenades, or a glitch mine, I guess, as well, you basically couldn't win that fight if it was like a enclosed cash out, like inside a building or something. So what I gathered so far is that each build has its own OP weapons and gear, but it's still pretty hard to solo an entire lobby on your own with these like OP builds. I did notice with the light builds that with the silenced pistol, it felt a little bit too strong, but other than that, I didn't feel like anything was like glaringly like way too overpowered. Number 2, the overall performance felt way better this time around. In the closed beta, it just felt so poorly optimized, and even with a pretty beastly rig that I have, I was still getting like severe frame drops. Whereas in this open beta, it felt a lot better and a lot smoother. I did run into a couple hitches and stuff and like maybe some server lag, but for the most part, this game felt way more optimized in this open beta than it did in the closed beta. Number 3, the cash out objective is a really fun game type. In ranked and in quick cash, it was just always really fun. I've always loved the objective game types over like a team deathmatch style game type, but for the most part, I thought this was a really cool new take on objective game types where it just felt new and fresh in the FPS genre, and I really like that. And then number 4, there's a huge selection of gear. The selection of gear is extensive, and the possibilities and potential for like different combos that you can do, it's just insane. Like I said earlier with that team comp with the 2 heavies and then the medium build, and the medium build was running the defibrillator and the healing gun, and then the 2 heavies were running shields with a flamethrower and a shotgun. That was crazy, and it really gets me thinking that there is a ton of different team comps that you could come up with. So if you guys came up with any really cool combos, let me know in the comments. At number 5, the map design is really, really cool, and I think it's got a ton of potential for new maps when the full game comes out. From the start in the closed beta, I was already super impressed with their map design. We only had 2, but there was dynamic events that made you only had 2 maps, but with all those dynamic events, it felt like you were playing a different map every time. Like, you had like daylight, nighttime, fog. You had certain parts of the buildings like blown up, like on Monaco, the church is just destroyed at the beginning, or on Seoul, you have the high construction thing that you can get up onto, or sometimes it's not even open. And then you have like the moving, there's just so much potential for this game with these maps. And I feel like when the full game comes out and we get a lot more, I think we're just going to see a ton of really fun maps to play. Now, that was the stuff that I enjoyed in this open beta. Let's get into the stuff that I didn't really enjoy. It's not a huge list, but it's stuff that I feel like definitely need to get looked at or changed immediately to make sure the finals has a super smooth release when the full game comes out. And I'm just going to start it off right now with number 1, cheaters. This is a given. As the beta went on, I didn't really feel like I ran into too many cheaters like right off the rip, like in the first couple days. But towards the end, I just started seeing them more and more and more and more. And This is something that really needs to get dealt with really quick. And we did a video on this previously, so I don't want to get super into it, but I feel like they honestly need to make sure that they have a little bit of a better anti-cheat. I'm not really too knowledgeable on anti-cheats, but I feel like easy anti-cheat is really, no pun intended, easy to break because you see way too many cheaters in games that run it. Number 2, some of the weapons on certain builds just felt way too strong. Now, I know I said that no build felt like it was way too overpowered, but I do have to say there are a couple weapons in this game that I felt like were just a little bit too overpowered. For example, I would say the light build with the silenced pistol. I feel like that silenced pistol, like when you combo it with the stun gun especially, it's basically a free kill. And I know they don't have a lot of HP, so you want to make sure that they have like a good amount of damage so that you have like a reason to run the light builds. Like you're taking the hit on the HP to run the light build, so you might as well, you definitely want to have a weapon that has a lot of damage. But I think they need to tune this in a way like maybe have less ammo in the magazine or just slightly nerf the damage. They need to do something to it because it feels way too strong to me. And then number 3, there's a lot of bugs that need to get fixed. Like one that I ran into that really was really bad was when I signed in for the first time in the open beta, I was trying to get past this selection screen where it was like, it told you could select your medium build and then your 2 other builds were locked until you hit level 2. And no matter how many times you click select, you were just stuck there. And the only way to get past this was to unlink your Steam from your Embark ID and then remake a new Embark ID and then link your Steam to that one. And then the problem with that is you lose all your beta rewards from the closed beta before that. And that makes me think if that happens in the full game release, you're just going to lose the other beta rewards that you got from the open beta. This is just one of the bugs that I think that they need to get fixed ASAP, but I'm pretty sure that they'll be on top of it. At number 4, levers were a huge problem. And there's no join in progress either, so it just really made it not fun. So like if you're playing quick cash and you load in and your teammate leaves within the first like minute, you're basically screwed. You don't get any fill. There's no join in progress, like I said. So you basically make it to where it's almost an unwinnable game. Now, me and my duo did win a game where it was just it was me and him versus 2 other teams with full 3, and we ended up winning, but it wasn't like that for the most part. Most of the games that we had levers on, or when I was playing solo and it was just me, it wasn't fun. And I don't really know what they can do to fix this. I think the first thing they need to do is add join in progress, and then from there maybe do a lever penalty. I know there is one in ranked, but they need to do one in quick cash because there's just way too many levers. But it also could be the game's crashing, so I don't know. They just need to make sure that there's something done about the levers in every game. At number 5, the servers felt pretty laggy sometimes. And I know this wasn't every match, so I don't really want to dog on them for having bad servers because I don't think that they do. It's just, it felt like some games you would just get some severe rubber banding or packet loss, and just your movement felt way too, like it almost felt like you were on a cloud. Like it was like you're floating around instead of like running. And a lot of the times it just didn't really feel that good to play. And they need to make sure that they have, on release at least, high quality servers that do not have packet loss or rubber banding, because like nobody likes lagging, right? Like you don't want to load into a game and then the game's just lagging and it's not your internet, it's on server side. It just makes you feel helpless. There's nothing you can do to fix it, and you're just hoping that they fix it on their end. I have a lot of faith in Embark Studios. I feel like they really want to make this game succeed, and with all the patches that they do within the beta, like that's one thing that I've noticed with them is every beta they've done really good patches, and then they are very transparent with their patches. When their patch notes, they tell you everything they're doing, everything they're working on, things that they looked at. And then in their Discord, they communicate very well. So I think they'll probably fix the servers that are lagging, but we'll just have to see. That's something that I really think they need to fix, but yeah, that's just me. So with all of that in mind, I did enjoy the game overall. I do feel like this game has a huge potential and can become a top contender in the FPS genre for sure. For that to happen, they need to make sure that everything on this list that I listed today is dealt with immediately, or at least looked at, and then they have a plan to fix this stuff. And as I said earlier, that one of the big problems was cheaters, and we did do a video on cheaters and how it's ruining the game. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on the screen now.